Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get into the third and final match between Sin and Avant Gaming. Currently tied up 1-1 after AV put up a phenomenal performance in Game 2.
Yeah, and you have to look at the solo laners and think, when the game is on a neutral footing, when there's not a big snowball at the start of the game, AV solo laners showed up. They were able to get it done this time. We were talking about Series a lot and the fact that he got 2 solo kills, but also you have to look towards Triple and the fact that he was absolutely popping off on the Orianna again. So I just think that, Game 1 looked like there was a big turbulent early game. Sybil getting mucked up, triple kill going over to Ryoma. Game 2 looked a little bit more normalized. Still some things going wrong. I mean, the reset on the blue buff for Dockler probably cost him that lane ultimately, Fish, because he was just dove afterwards and had no mana. But I was hoping that both of these teams were going to show up today and play really clean League of Legends, really decisive League of Legends. That's what they have said time and time again they want to be able to do. They want to break that top 4. They want to break the top 3. And unfortunately for both Sin and AV, I don't think either team would be looking at this as a win today so far.
You would not. I mean, you expect this to be a close game, but for many different reasons besides what we've seen today. It is nowhere near the close game because both of them are playing perfect League of Legends at the moment. It's just been a little bit of a clown fiesta at certain times today.
Certainly has been, but that's why this Game 3 is important, because now if you clean up the play, now if you go into Game 3, execute towards what the draft is, make sure that the coaches are setting their teams up for success and they're able to clean up a lot of the mistakes. That would allow them to go home, both teams, I think, with their heads held a little bit higher. The 2 points is still very important, especially for Sin, who will fall down 1-2 at the moment if they're not able to pick that up. AV, it gets them back towards the top of that ladder, although you would have to think that Legacy and Chiefs are looking this week to 2-0 as they go up against Regicide and TM, respectively. We'll see, whether that means that AV, unfortunately, lose that equal second spot right now.
Yep. And these are the two teams which a lot of people expected to do what they did last split and make it to top 5 at least, go into the gauntlet run. And both AV and Sin are vocal about how they don't want to just be 4th and 5th. They want to move further on. Yep. They need to clean up a lot of their play if they want to do just that.
And I mean, both of these teams should be looking to move further on, because we know when Juves is playing well, then Sin becomes a very multi-dimensional team. They can play around Ryoma, they can play around FBI, and Dockler has had some good performances, not some great performances yet, but still very new to the team. And the same thing can be said about AV. I mean, when Jake and Blinky are playing well, and at the moment it doesn't look like they are, they also have 3 lanes that can potentially win. So I think that both of these teams have what it takes to become top-tier teams. It's just that sloppiness within their play that's really holding them back.
Yep. And we've seen it's not just been staple. One person has been playing sloppy so far. It just bounces back and forth between
100%.
multiple members.
I mean, Juves had a bad game 1. Juves had a good game 2. Dockler was fine on the Galio. Dockler was very poor on the Chase. I mean, then when you look on the other side of the rift, I mean, the Echo didn't do all that much, got blown up in team fights. I mean, in the split push was very effective, but all Echoes are in the split push. I think that's fair to say. Whereas in this game, I mean, the Orianna was massive. Series game 1 wasn't all that much on Renekton. In this game, it looked like it was the best champion in the world, and you should pick it every game. I mean, I'm completely confused how you draft around these teams. I think the one thing that is sure is that you just get rid of Orianna, because both of these mid laners are monsters on it. But apart from that, I mean, anything really goes.
It certainly does. I mean, again, the scoreline sells it itself. It's 1-1. These two teams are dead even. Unfortunately, we're not yet been able to get into Champions League for game number 3. Been told we'll get there as soon as possible. The big thing we talked about Sin for forever. It's these two people on your screen, the top laner and Juves. Juves, he's had up and down performances back to back. It's just really inconsistent. When he looks great, he is one of the best junglers in the OPL. When he looks bad, he looks like one of the worst junglers in the OPL. And when they brought in Flares, they brought in this great top laner who worked well with the team. Took a while to adapt, but you saw during the gauntlet run, he looked like one of the best players in the team. Dockler hasn't had that great standout performance that Flares had when he first joined. Because when Flares joined, he was just like Juves. Great when he was at his best, and poor when he was at his worst. So they're just so contrasting.
Yeah, we haven't seen the ceiling of Dockler
No,
yet,
we've just seen him have bad and okay games.
And I mean, I think it's important to note that last regular season, AV beat Sin both times.
Yes.
That they played. They were in the same group, I believe. AV was able to take them down, and then, of course, in the gauntlet run, it went the other way. All of the games were really close and relatively competitive. But in the gauntlet run, we saw what we're seeing now, which is an early game mistake means that Triple can take over the game, or an early game mistake means that Ryoma and FBI are taking over games. And that was honestly the whole story behind the Sin AV series in the Gauntlet, because we had, 1-1s going absolutely everywhere, and the mid laners looking like monsters.
And you have Sybil joining the AV lineup, looking a lot better with AV. This split seems to have adapted a lot more to AV's playstyle.
It's amazing what an off-season will do with you, getting to know your teammates and also being able to get to know how they like to play the game.
But again, Blinky really not in shape at the moment in his gameplay. First split looked great to start things off, kind of slumped towards the end, and that's carried through to split 2 so far.
Yeah, it certainly has. I mean, the Caitlyn game was definitely better than the Callista game.
Yep.
But still wasn't all that agile on his feet. Is getting hit by a lot of skill shots that you would think shouldn't be coming through. He's also laning with a much improved Jake, I think. So that also means that they should be crushing the lane just a little bit more in some situations. I mean, FBI and Rogue are certainly hard people to bully around, but if there is a lane that's going to do it, it will be Caitlyn Nami on the current patch.
Yep, and Jake has shown that he's a very versatile support. Can play the playmaking champions like Thresh. He can go tanky with Braum. I mean, Tom Kenchi's picked up as well. He can go towards the majors like Zyra and also the supportive champions like Nami. So very versatile support in the OPL at the moment. Probably one of the best supports in the OPL.
Yeah, I certainly agree. I think, Triple and Jake have certainly stepped up to be the stars on this AV lineup.
Yep.
I think Triple through his play, Jake through his play, but as well as his captaincy. And we're seeing, again, double jungle bans thrown from Sin's blue side. One of them, Zach.
And that's not a good sign for Sin when the most powerful champion in the current meta, which is permanently banned on red side. We saw this with Camille a lot. Last split. Has to be banned when you're on blue side because your jungler's lost 2 games on it, and from what we can see so far, not very comfortable. The champion just throws a ban away, allows AV to get these target bans off, like the Caitlyn now being banned out, denying one champion from them. And this time it's Sin that prioritize Renekton as their first pick.
Yeah, interesting. So they pick up what they consider the best bruiser on the patch at the moment. See whether series can play something into it. I would be surprised if that is a jungle Gragas after how poorly game 1 went. However, you can't really put much down to a couple of stolen chickens and a re-leashed red buff.
Who knows, Sirius could pick that one up heading into the top lane. Gragas is fine into Renekton, has the tools to duke it out against him. A great disengage if he ever gets into a sticky situation. This is a pick I would really like from AV. Deny the Thresh away from Rogue, and Jake's comfortable on the champion as well. It's a decent support pick at the moment.
I think it's the best support pick at the moment. I think that if you're a great Thresh player or you're a great Rakan player, you should play both of them.
Yeah.
They've just got so much good playmaking. They've got the ability to go forward and backwards. The hook is devastating when it causes picks. I mean, all in all, we've seen Rogue play it to such good effect. Yeah. We know that denying him is good, but also the fact that it gives your team comp something.
On top of that, in the first game between AV and Sin, instead of banning Galio as their last ban, they banned Rakan, which gave Doppler that first pick of Galio. So far, nothing much has changed besides that first pick. Juves has gone back to Olaf in the jungle. As you've mentioned, a lot of jungle bans going through. Kha'Zix is not one of them. So now I'm curious to see if they're going to try and pinch Sybil or if they just throw Gragas into the jungle instead. And Rogue picking up Tahm Kench, quite staple into Thresh at the moment.
Yeah, it certainly is. And I think now on the second rotation, you have to ban Talia away because we already saw what can happen with the Tahm Kench and the Talia combos. You can see that Sybil also getting the Kha'Zix for himself. So that is going to be a top lane Gragas, unless Triple is like a Woody Fruity fan and is going to be played in the mid lane full AP.
Oh boy. He has some great montages.
Fantastic montages.
Makes me want to play Gragas. I'll play him for a game, I'll get raged at, and I'll just never play him ever again.
Yeah, I'm playing Riven at the moment.
Oh boy.
People are not enjoying solo queue.
There's that Talia ban coming out from AV, targeted towards Ryoma. It was actually a first ban for them when they were on the blue side of the Rift last game.
And deserved first ban. Ryoma is just so good at impacting other areas of the map. I wish there was a TF meta that we got to see Ryoma play in because he just reads plays incredibly well.
Orianna ban from Sin, not allowing Triple to pick up that champion.
I, for one, am shocked, Fish. Did not see this one coming.
It's the kryptonite of Sin, Triple on Orianna. It's been proven time and time again. Even in games where they've lost, somehow Triple still gives them nightmares, as we heard from interviews last split. Syndra, another ban from AV, so both teams targeting mid laners at the moment. I mean, all they need to pick up now are 80 carries and mid laners, so it makes sense to target out Triple and Ryoma. Blinky, we've seen that he has decent champion pool. FBI can play whatever he likes. And with Caitlyn ban, you don't really have to ban out anything else because you've got both utility 80 carries open and still go towards the Jhin if you like to. Zed's a curious ban, though, thrown out by Sin.
I mean, that means that they think it's going to be a last pick out of triple. But if you're going to get rid of an assassin, I mean, maybe it's because of the amount of magic damage right now because Sirius has got it, but I think that he prefers Echo regardless.
Ooh.
And I'm telling you, he's going to only play Caitlyn Kalista for the rest of the split.
Kalista locked in for Blinky despite 3 of the more heavily picked 80 carries left open in the current meta.
Picked by who? LWX plays Kalista, my man.
Who's that again?
80 carry of newbie over in the LPL.
FBI's been picking up Jhin.
Ooh, mid lane Karma.
3 times today, and that's going to be a Karma in the mid lane for Ryoma, already switching out his summoner spells for teleport.
Potentially worried about a Vladimir on her assassin coming through. Karma does well into both.
But
He historically doesn't do great into control mages, however, Fish.
I really like this, though. It's going to be able to buff up both the Olaf and the Renekton charging into team fights. Time catch as well. And Ari is the final pick coming out for triple.
I mean, that's a carry pick for triple. See what build he goes towards, whether he's a Gunblade Ari or whether he just goes Morellonomicon. I prefer Morellonomicon for the cooldown. I think it's very important for a wave clear, but there are stranger things happening in solo queue at the moment.
I mean, AV just have such a heavy pick comp at the moment. That's fine a team fight as well. Everyone on their team has a way to pick off someone. Sin, on the other hand, it's a really run straight down the front line, get to the back line, kill as many people as possible.
I mean, it's a take the Renekton into the back line with Tahm Kench.
Yeah.
And hope that Ari doesn't get to Jhin. Because that's how this game is going to be solved, I feel. If ever FBI opens up to start off the team fight, triple will just go searching for him.
So again, very different team comps in all 3 games from both teams. And very curious to see why this Renekton is being prioritized so heavily. We talked a lot about how Black Cleaver into Titanic Hydra use would come back into the meta thanks to Gargoyle Stoneplay as well. Now the Locket changes affecting that so much, but didn't quite expect the Renekton. Thought maybe Kled would be a little bit more, Jarvan even higher priority than that, but
that's what surprised me, the lack of Jarvan priority this series, because Jarvan's in such a good place. You only need 2 damage items with Jarvan, and then you can build a pure tank, and he will still do relevant damage. I still feel like the damage out of Renekton falls off slightly, and it's just because it's harder to get out. I mean, Jarvan can just dash into the backline, get the Cataclysm down, then you have to fight him. I just want to know whether it's just set, whether it's a series thing and now Dockler's playing his game, or whether the Chiefs in the next set, where Swipe is going to go up against ZZZ in the top lane as they face off against Regicide, also share this kind of, priority around the top lane meta.
That's going to be a fun match to watch out next. I know it's a stacked match. Chiefs somewhat top of the table here against Regicide, new team who are currently bottom of the table. Definitely would be in favor of the Chiefs, but still ZZZ against Swiper. That's going to be a fun one to watch. For now, though, we are back onto the Rift for the final match between Sin and Avant Gaming, the first match of this week of the OPL. Before we go into a little bit of a break, I think it's a couple of weeks before we come back.
I mean, it's not really a break. We have Rift Rivals coming up as well. Certainly no holidays for us.
Yeah. We'll see the Chiefs. No, not the Chiefs,
Not
actually.
the Chiefs.
Direwolves, Legacy, and Sin will be heading overseas to represent Oceania. I know the AV boys are talking about how they're going to take a couple of days off after this match. So it'd be nice to go off on a win.
Yeah. Zagoon was saying he wished he got some holidays. He's going to be scrimming the whole time.
Poor Tegan.
Minions have spawned.
No early action in this match. You can already see Blinky was trying to pose aggressively in the bottom lane. Got spotted out a couple of Sin members rotating into that brush, so backed off. Everyone else from AV is just scouting out the river and jungle entrances across the map.
What are your thoughts on Darkstar Kha'Zix? Show me that skin.
It's okay.
He looks like a cockroach. I really don't like it. I am not a fan.
I'm not a fan of any of the Kha'Zix skins, to be honest.
I like Death Blossom.
Okay. I just like the base skin.
Yeah.
Base skin looks the best. Get a couple of chromas on him. He'll look fantastic.
But buff starts again out of the jungler, so not going towards that.
Yep, this time Sybil does not lose patience with his blue buff. So he's going to pick that one up. Nice.
Carbon was pretty vocal last week about how you do still need to be able to start Raptors, and that the experience is useful. Of course, new patch, so maybe different jungle pathing coming out, but once again, something that we'll have to track as the weekend goes on, Fish.
Yep.
Because I'm not convinced that these buff starts are a good thing.
Both of them starting on blue buff as well. It's not just a red buff, which is the typical buff start you see at the moment. Makes sense for Olaf, especially you can see his mana at the moment. That cooldown reduction makes his clear so much faster. He needs it to keep throwing out the axes or the undertows. Sybil, on the other hand, Kha'Zix doesn't get too much from blue buff. We'll
That's
help him out
actually
a little
really
bit.
nice ward out of Ryama. Knows exactly where Kha'Zix is now. So they're going to be able to spot him out as he comes to this one. They think it's on the Raptor camp, so you see that Sybil's gone for the mind game, has walked a long way around, but they still know exactly where he is.
Yeah, that is a lot of information given over towards Juves, as well as the rest of Sin. Kha'Zix top side of the map. Rogue and FBI can play a little bit more aggressive if they need to.
So game one, this lane ended up in about a 10 CS advantage for the AV bottom lane. Quite early on. And you can see that they've reversed it off their turret very nicely. They're actually starting to push in. As Sybil, what are you doing?
Nobody saw that. Junglers are having a very tough time today, Spawn, fighting the jungle
Against
camps.
the neutral camp, yeah. Oh, that's nicely done by Triple. Actually dodges out of the way of that empowered Q.
Using the minions to his advantage. Very nicely done. Roma not able to get the damage down. Does get the tether. Karma's just impressive to lane against, no matter who you are, really.
Death by a touch Karma, of course. Looking how he plays it. No wind speaker mid lane.
Here's his bottom. AV in some trouble. That's a flash forward from Rogue. Good exhausted to Jake. They're going to lock down the Thresh, which is a smart move. But can they get enough damage?
Turret.
One
He's
more
dead.
eat. Can he get him? Can't get the eat down. First blood picked up by FBI, but Blinky turns it
He's
around.
still going.
He's got red buff and blue buff. He's able to charge forward. So many spears thrown to
All
Rogue.
those creeps.
Now going on towards FBI. Good damage. Gets locked down by captive audience. Blinky decides not to go any further forward, but still great aggressive trade in the bottom lane.
Yeah, didn't get the reset on the E. Otherwise, he would have continued to hop there. And such a good early play. Dockler actually needs to be careful here. No mana on series actually means probably turret dive off the table. But he was very low. And full HP Sybil on top side of the map. Not Windspeaker, Storm Raiders. Trying to be picked up. That's better out of Ryoma.
Able to connect his abilities there. I'm sure it's hard for Triple to farm at the moment, chugging potions every single second he gets. And here's a replay of that fight.
So you can see that right now they're communicating. What do we want to do? Okay, we want to fight. And then Jay comes up with a heads-up play. He drags him back and actually makes him tank a turret shot. FBI gets first blood, but because it's double buffs and the continuation on the play here, it actually works out very nicely for the AV bottom lane.
Yep. It was smart from Sin against the Thresh lane. You should target the Thresh. If not, Dark Pass is just going to get his AD carry back to safety, but way too deep coming out from Juves there.
You can see that it results in about a 6 CS lead at this stage of the game. In fact, 7, because he picks them all up. And they're going to lose all of that golden experience. So FBI, no summoner spells now. Rogue, no summoner spells. And a Kha'Zix that's been able to steal away a topside jungle. Potential for them to get very active on this bottom side of the map. Maybe Blinky heard us. He's going to have a game now.
I'm sick of these casters making fun of me. I'm not a wicket keeper. I'm a bowler. Come in. Choose now going to work.
Also, whilst I appreciate the Photoshop, he put him on an Australian wicketkeeper, and the guy's from New Zealand. So I don't know about that.
Oh boy. A for effort, at least. B plus for the actual product. AV again looking bottom lane, this time with their jungler. Rogue is spotted out by a ward here, so they know exactly where the time catch is.
Yeah, this is actually nice from Sinner. They're not going to walk into the river where they know that there are people missing. Although, nice and cool.
Good damage.
Great damage. And now, Sybil's wasting a lot of time there.
Just sitting there. Sybil's happy. He's actually tanked up some experience. Ticked over to level 5 there. He's gone with Storm Raider's Surge on his Kha'Zix.
Oh, FBI in some trouble.
Yep, jumps on top of him. That's a lot of damage. Good eat by Rogue, but still, that's perfectly fine. Blink will be happy with that chunk on towards the A80 carry.
100%. And I mean, Sybil lost pretty much nothing there because he was already taxing experience. You see, Series still struggling with his mana pool. Actually has fallen behind 10 CS, so there is something to this Renekton pick.
Yep.
You can see that already the mid lane is walking up towards top, so they're looking for a dive.
Gragas is one of the champions that was affected quite heavily by the Doran's ring changes as well. You just go triple ring into any other item that gave him the perfect amount of sustain, perfect amount of damage, as well as some health to top it all off. Poor man's Rod of Ages.
Yep. Of course, Rod of Ages is just way too expensive. See whether they sit on a Catalyst or something like that, maybe go towards Righteous Glory late game? Just trying to think of how you get this guy's mana sustain up, because you can see right now, he is struggling.
He is. Meanwhile, both mid laners will pick up their own blue buffs. You can see Chalice of Harmony for Ryoma. He's going to be fine with mana. The flip side, Triple's going for the Lost Chapter. It is an Ignite against Teleport lane as well, so Triple always has that slight kill pressure. Upside is that Doppler's just being so aggressive at the moment. Messing up that combo slightly. Didn't get the stun with the series, but still decent damage.
And Series has continued the Q max when I think that W max should theoretically be better right now. We can see that Sybil's actually been pinged out a little bit here. Going to catch Juves, but I don't know if he has enough damage.
It's a third of his health.
Juves threw that one way too far.
Still going aggressive there.
You can't overthrow axes at this stage of the game because if you chain them, you do so much damage. You can see that unfortunately he really threw that one quite a distance.
Forces Juves to recall, gives Sybil some control over the Sin jungle, calls upon Jake as well as Blinky to move up towards the red buff. We'll be able to take that. Now I want to see if Series takes his blue red buff. He snuck, Doppler, sorry. He snuck into the AV side of the jungle, so, I mean, not a bad trade. Still knocks Juves out of the jungle and Sybil has the experience advantage, hitting 6 first. That's
what I was going to say. Gives the experience advantage over. Okay, cool. So we're going to go towards Frozen Heart as the first item. Not great against Renekton because HP still isn't going to be there and he's going to build Black Cleaver, which will shred through a lot of the pure armor, but still increases the mana pool. It's a smart pickup. Don't mind it. Potentially is still going to be something like an Iceborne Gauntlet as well, which I would much prefer. The reason I say Frozen Heart is because he's already picked up another Cloth Armor, and we've seen Series do it before.
Well, there's 3 heavy AD dealers on the other side of the map.
None of them rely on attack.
I mean, reduces Jin's damage, yay!
You're a positive guy sometimes. Like, you give things way too much credit. See whether they sneak another dragon here. This is definitely the similar drawn-up play. As soon as they had life steal last game, they walked towards the dragon pit. Of course, that time it was the Infernal Dragon, so a lot higher priority.
Now it's just a Cloud Dragon, which is probably the lowest of priority in dragons at the moment.
In the early game. I think in the late game, Cloud's still fine. Having movement speed to be able to clear out wards and run around summoners rest at top speed. As Carbon said, it's kind of like having a GP10. But certainly at this stage of the game, you would nearly rather anything but the Cloud.
Doppler moving back towards top side of the map, looking to complete his Black Cleaver. This is where the lane starts to get dicey for Series as well.
Starts to. He's already 20 CS down, mate.
It's going to get worse.
It's a dicey lane already.
Roma trading against Triple nicely, dodges out the stun. Going to get both procs of the Empowered Q as well.
Beautiful play.
Dangerous for Triple to stay in this lane despite having Ignite. Just seems like he never has kill pressure over Ryoma.
I mean, it's very hard to kill Karma just because of the Empowered Shield. Although Juves, on the other hand, gets his ult burnt.
Forces the Ragnarok out of Juves as well. He's just going to turn red and angry and run away.
Yeah, that's going to lead to a dragon, looks like. Although potentially they're just going to go for a gank. Flashes are available from Jake. Does he flash forward?
Let's see. Rogue and FBI playing very carefully at the moment. Released up onto the CS. He does, but no play being made. They don't know that Juves is here, but...
Juves? Sybil.
Sybil. When you have this big wave crashing on forward, I mean, you can always just wait for it to hit the turret anyway. You're not going to miss too much, maybe 1 or 2 creeps at most.
But it's once again a 10 CS lead right now.
Jungle's going to meet again. Juves takes a brunt of damage from Sybil, but look at this. Good dash to the wall from Triple. Juves is going to be the first one to fall. Doppler does get down to a great separation from Series. FBI trying to snipe Triple, tags him, gets the crit shot. The sniper from downtown picks up another one for AV.
Yeah, really nicely played out of FBI. He plays for Sin, however.
I can't get them right this game.
No, that's all right. We're all fine here. We're dandy. But at the same time, oh, here we go. Jake's actually window shopping. He's dead.
He's caught. FBI is going to be able to walk
gobbled up.
Should be an easy kill. There is flash available for Jake. Let's see if we can do something tricky. Good hook, but FBI is going to lock forward with a crit shot. Gets it eventually.
Pretty inexcusable.
Yep.
You could see that Blinky already wanted to go back. They knew that on the side of Sin. And Jake just had the shop open because he did not move at all at the start of that little bit of aggression.
Oh, dead man. Now FBI's got 3 kills. Not looking great. They're going to continue shoving this one further forward. Blinky has come back into this lane. Does have Sybil in his back pocket if he needs any assistance down here.
The problem is that this is the time that Blinky should actually have started winning this lane. He's completed his walk in really nice time. Only 11.5 minutes had gone by. He was up in CS. He still is. But off the back end of that, 2 kills going across means Infinity Edge and Brawler's Glove And this is the gym build that I like.
Yep.
When you know that you're ahead, when you know that you're going to have big impact on early team fights, and you've got a Karma there who's potentially going to go hard and censor for you as well, if you don't mind, Ryoma. He's going to pump out a lot of damage early on, Fish.
Bork is like the new Trinity Force in the sense that you get it earlier than Infinity Edge, so to speak, because a lot of Infinity Edge AD carries used to go double Dorans or triple Dorans Blade a long time ago. Blade of the Ring Kings is so much faster. Stop.
If you reset another camp, I am done with you.
I agree with Tegan. These two teams should be banned from taking any neutral monsters. Just 2v2 top lane, 2v2 bottom. Goodness sake. It's an absolute disaster.
It has not been a pretty series of League of Legends. No one, I don't think, in the history of the game will say, don't you remember that week 3 clash between Sin and AV? What a cracker. Let's go watch it again.
Oh, boy. Heard the red buff had a great series. Blue buff, almost. No, but you're right. Infinity Edge picked up nice and early by FBI. That's definitely a power play. You normally see him go for the Essence Reaver.
Ryoma again looking aggressive. Creeps don't help him out here.
Triple turning around, looking for good damage. Sybil will jump in. Both of them flashing forward. Ryoma in some trouble. Great tether. Doesn't get Sybil locked down, but Juve's able to get the return kill. Jake has showed up looking to deter.
Better pathing from Juve this game, actually. He's been here twice for counter ganks now.
Yep.
That one went their way. One before, it was pretty much rescued by Rogue and FBI being able to get there first. This time, Jake's not dropping.
And I really like the Athene's pickup from Ryoma. Assists his team so much, especially with Renekton, Olaf, as well as Jin. On top of that, gives him enough magic to say, Triple, you don't do any damage to me at the moment.
Yeah.
Come back with a Void Staff. That's still very early in this game. About 1,000 gold lead for Sin at the moment.
Big worry for AV as well as their top lane turret has taken so much damage. What would have been with a W Max Gragas? I honestly don't know, but that's historically what you used to be able to trade pretty effectively with Renekton.
It's gone E-second as well.
Yep.
I like the Max Secure for the trade, but I mean, I don't like the Frozen Heart that he's actually going to be building.
Told you.
Let's get the Warden's Mail ready. It's a curious build.
I mean, I don't like to... when you have AP, Q-Max makes so much sense. He has 0 AP in this build so far. I just don't think it makes sense. He's getting dove. He's going to be dead.
Good stun from Doppler. He gets behind him so he can't use the ultimate easily, and locked down by Ryoma. Easy kill on the top side map. That'll be first brick as well.
And time again, we're seeing Renektons take over games with a kill going down as well as 100% of first blood turret going across. This could be another one of those games.
Juves has made his way down into the bottom side of the map as well. So they share the gold top turret between the two carries of the team. Triple's trying to do what he can to chip away at mid lane. He's
going to get it. Ooh, teleport will save it.
Teleported by Ryoma. Does get good chip damage. Sets it up for later. Dodges out the stun as well. So that's good for Sin. Sybil gets the red buff this time. Doesn't let it reset. The Triple's hunting for the wild Renekton inside of AV's jungle.
It's actually recalling. Must have just been out of vision there.
So, Black Cleaver complete for Doppler. Series has completed his Frozen Heart, nice and early. And now Ryoma stepping up to deal more damage. Looking for the Haunting Guys as his next item. Sorry, Leandra's Torment.
Yeah. That's an interesting build fit. So he's got the cooldown reduction, still wants to be able to do some damage. Triple, big rotation down into this bottom lane if he actually commits for it. Just because of the fact that they've already done so much damage to it. If it goes wrong, they're going to lose out on a lot here, and they're already 2,000 gold down.
Oof, good damage on Jake. Blinky takes some to the face as well, and FBI says, hello, welcome to my curtain call. Have some fun. They're going to use everything to get into this bottom lane as well. Series gets the flank first. Has the W auto attack before ultimate. That's a mistake. Blinky now in trouble. Captive audience gets caught. Series trying to body slam his way away. Triple's
Everyone's here.
Used his ultimate to try and get closer to this fight. Triple wants to try and get even further closer to Doppler. That turret is low. FBI's working on it. Sybil waiting in the back lines. Juve's going to be able to face check him right now. Series though jumps on in first. Good stun from Doppler. Sybil has the ability to try and jump away. They're still chasing further forward. That smite's not going to give him enough health. Undertow just barely misses, but it doesn't matter. Doppler chases him down and says, that's how you play Renekton.
And this is why you do not defend turrets that are on sub 10% health, because time and time again, the enemy's just able to set up for it. They knew the teleport play was coming down. They're able to beat them to the punch. And Sin walk away without even killing the turret with such a massive gold lead now, Fish.
There was such massive abilities being used by AV and Trader for the curtain call. Dark Passage to get Blinky to safety, and then Blinky used his ultimate to get Jake to safety. It was interesting.
Yeah, but at the same time, they were able to grab Ryoma. This is why neither Sybil or Triple had their ultimates available when they got down there. And somehow Dockler dies. Okay, so all of a sudden, I mean, Blinky, who was having a really rough game, is still up in CS, now has a place to live in this mid lane. They might even be able to grab the turret. And AV just chipped themselves back into the game.
That will be turret. Ryoma's going to try and do what he can.
Oh,
Actually,
here we go.
They go for a fight. Juice has jumped in very low on mana. Can't throw out any more abilities, but they've locked down Series first. He's not the tankiest member on the squad, despite what his items tell you. Rogue almost falls, but that were so many big shields. Great eats, keeping FBI alive after the hook comes through, and right as Triple arrives to the scene as well.
Yeah, 1-for-1. Triple didn't stay bottom lane, doesn't look to clean up that turret. Instead, they're going to hard commit to this mid lane. That was a really close miscalculation by Blinky again, because the Karma shield ran off before the Grey, after the Grey health did. And he obviously had timed the Grey health, because as soon as that fell away, he pulled the twigs out. But Ryoma had also added a Karma shield to it, and was able to make that one work.
I do like the play from Sin, though. Makes the best out of the worst situation.
I mean, after Dockler had died.
Yep. Do not reset this blue bar.
Nah, it's staying.
Thank goodness.
Oh, okay. It's all good.
I don't trust them anymore.
You've lost your blue buff privileges.
You've lost all jungle privileges. No smite allowed. But still, it's a slight lead for Sin. Just under 3,000 gold.
Ah, here we go. So the adaptation came out of FBI towards his build because there's a genuine tank on some there. So you can see right now, he's got his Infinity Edge, got Rapid Fire Cannon, but is actually going towards the Last Whisper as his next item. So potentially against squishier targets, likes a cooldown reduction, whereas against the super tanks, like the Gragas's in the top lane, likes to go towards IE and then pick himself up a Lord Stomp.
Makes sense as well, because Series has rushed armor so early, he has no health. Once you shred through any of the resistances that Frozen Heart are giving you, he is a very squishy Gragas. Sybil now trying to get some good damage onto Dockler. Can't tell who's caught who. Triple charms up Juice. Didn't expect that one coming. Nothing too much happening between these two teams. Jake shows up to mid lane just to help out Blinky, who chucked a couple of spears into FBI.
And it's interesting, right? Because it looks like Rogue's Tahm Kench is kind of countering both the Thresh as well as the Kalista at the moment, denying a lot of the damage that would come out of those spears. So one of those things that maybe teams, if you are going to be playing the Kalista as well as Thresh, prioritize. Oh,
Body block from Series, gets the ultimate off as well. Ryoma will flash over the wall. Good charm from Triple. That's going to be a dead Karma, we think it is. Series comes back for round 2. Almost dies for it. He still might.
Touch.
Almost, but not enough. Series will still survive there, but
so Leandri's burn can't kill you because it's current health burn, whereas Deathfire Touch can, I believe, is the way it works. You can see Sybil has also gone the W evolution second, moving towards topside through the jungle, trying to give some level of safety to Triple, who is up massively in CS, another 50 CS advantage for Triple, if you don't mind, as well as the fact that he's got himself a 2-1 and 2 scoreline.
But again, it's relatively even between AV and Sin. We saw this last game around 20 minutes. 2,000 gold in Sin's favor. AV still making proactive plays across the map, but they've got FBI to deal with, which is going to be difficult. Blinky, though, again, having a much better game this time around. Has his Pork as well as Hurricane.
Yep. Actually goes with a Hurricane this time. Had picked up the Phantom Dancer in game 1. Was interested to see if that was because of Hurricane's nerf, which shouldn't have impacted Blinky all that much. Or whether it was because of the fact that they were diving on his face over and over again, and Phantom Dancer was going to save his life. What do you think about Ryoma on Karma? I mean, he's playing the champion fine, but stylistically, do you think it actually suits the Sin Gaming lineup?
I don't think so. I think Ryma's a spam-heavy mid lane. As we talk about that, their FBI is being caught. He's trying to deal as much damage as possible, but Juice is going to try and charge on in, help out his team, but instead he's just running away. Ryoma is that next target. Rogue flashes for it, but he might have just cost his team another kill. Ryoma does get spat out and destroyed. And AV just leave him to die. Blinky flashing aggressively forward. Juves is dead. Rogue has his hand on his head. Double kill picked up by Blinky. And that's 4 kills for AV, turning the game completely around.
And it's going to be Baron because all of a sudden you've got a Renekton, but you've got a super tank that can take this up. You've got all the secure in the world, plus a Bork user there in Blinky. And he's looking much more comfortable on the Kalista this time around. And as we said, that game 1 snowball looks so impressive, so promising for Sin. But since then, AV have had very firm control of this series.
Something how Baron is picked up very easily by Kalista, as well as a smite coming out from series, and completely turns things around. It's now a 3,000 gold lead for AV.
With 2 turrets bottom lane to just be picked up whenever they want, they can send the Ari down there. Let's take a look at this. Good Hook comes out. Huge shields are available there out of Ryoma, but they continue the fight. And this is what Kalista's always been able to do well. No upfront burst damage out of your AD carry, but the ability to just continue hopping, continue chipping, unmatched mobility, unmatched consistent damage. You can see in the end flashing on top of Juves to just secure the jungle pickup. It certainly was the right call because otherwise Baron becomes a little bit iffier. And now they have the whole map to work on.
And that shows why Hurricane still picks up on Kalista. Yes, it doesn't give you the extra damage of Bladed Ruin King through those bolts, but it still gives you those spears, which is what she likes. Gets the great resets, throwing them into multiple target also helps out as well at the end. With that AV pick up Baron. And you were talking about Ryoma and Karma. I like it. He looks good. He understands the intricacies of the champion, but I prefer him on more spam-heavy mages who are very low cooldown, like Talia, like Cassiopeia, even Victor from time to time. Orianna comes to mind too, because I feel like he's just much more prominent in dealing damage for his team that way.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's good to give FBI a carry game every now and again. He certainly deserves it. He's such a promising young AD carry. But I feel like Sin are at their best when it's, you know, Ryoma and Juves unlocking the rest of the map.
Yeah. I mean, I like Sin the same way I like Jax, the Protected Jax comp where you have multiple threats. Give FBI and Ryoma those threats. Make it so it's just difficult for the other team to choose who they need to kill. So now they just dive into FBI, as we saw in that last fight. Once he's dead, all right, game's over, let's go. But AV's still trying to make the most out of this Baron buff. They push down bottom lane outer turret.
Triple is 3 levels higher than Ryoma at this stage.
About 16 as well.
Yeah. On the assassin on the map. Certainly hard to cope with. Going towards the third stuff as his third item.
So AV going to be able to pick up 3 turrets with this initial Baron. Blinky works in the bottom lane inner. That's 2 turrets picked up there. Ooh. FBI almost gets hit by that hook again.
Jake's doing really clever things with the hook side. He's auto-attacking wards first to try and disguise the action. Certainly is having a pretty impressive game on the thresh. Game 1 didn't look all that comfortable. Game 2 looking much more.
It's really good at hiding the direction as well. Make sure he's facing away before he throws the hook. The character has to turn around in the animation. Makes it a little bit harder to predict. But still, AV very happy with this Baron play so far. 6,000 gold, and that's swung a 3,000 deficit, so total of a 9,000 gold play. Just off that one team fight, picking up Baron and what they've gotten so far from it. Rogue's really good with saving his allies at the moment, but can't keep doing that.
Do it that often.
Series looking just fine now. He's got 2 tank items. Doppler getting good trades. He has to flash away from that ultimate.
Good flash, but I mean, you don't want to die at this stage. There's only so many skill shots that can hit, although that's really bad.
That's not good. Series body slams away. Now Triple's taking so much damage. Jake will block the final shot there. Maybe the sacrificial lamb for his team. Juice Job's there. Big play coming out from the Thresh. Throws Streamers back in. Doppler trying to get into the back lines, but he's taken so much damage. Blinky throws one back. Triple has been sniped out, but at what cost? Ryma will trade further forward. Juice has no ultimate, and Blinky is still incredibly healthy. Double kill has been picked up by Sybil, and AV charged towards the base. Series is going back, has teleport available.
Yeah, he certainly does, and this is what happens. Good hook again, but Rogue saves his life. If you can't get access to the Kalista, she is just impossible to deal with in these late game teamfights, Fish. You can see that Blinky was healthy enough to just continue without putting damage, and then the assassins weave in when they want to go for those kills.
And this is why people say get Blinky on Kalista, get him on Jinx, get him on Caitlyn. Put him on these hyper carries because he looks much better in teamfights when his job is to deal damage than it is to use utility.
Completely agree, and off the back end of that, they just have some huge jobs coming out. You can see Void Staff as well as another Blasting Wand picked up. Goes back, picks up a Bloodthirster, going towards what should be a Merc Scimitar, although wouldn't be surprised if it was just going to be a...
QSS?
No, come on, that's what builds it. The other one, Hex Shrinker.
Triple Lifesteal would be Definitely. Either of those items is going to make Blinky impossible to deal with.
Yep.
I don't like the QS as much because the only stun he's got to watch out for is Doppler.
Yeah, and if Doppler's already that close to him, he's probably done something wrong.
You deserve to die in that case. He should have Jake in his back pocket as well to protect him from that series as well. More now Mordius makes sense. His Ryan is going to be dealing a lot of that burst damage. He's already got Ninja Tabi to protect himself from Juves, Doppler, and FBI.
Also just the fact that, you know, Lifeline gives you that big boost of lifesteal as well as you get down low.
And that's where Kalista really shines. I mean, the start of the fight's okay for Kalista. If she gets jumped on, that's it. Your team fight's over. But if she lives through the team fight, she's like Vayne, where she just moves deeper and deeper into the backlines. There's nothing you can do to stop her.
Yep. You can see that also looks like it's going to be a Dust Plate Attractor picked up by Sybil. So not going towards what normally is a third item GA right now on Kha'Zix. Instead, a little bit more of a confidence build. Has his swagger about him today in this game 3.
Actually, really like the GA when you're ahead, so curious to see why he's gone for that. Stoneplate has been picked up by both top laners, so Doppler's got a good spike, and Series is next to unkillable at the moment.
Yeah, Doppler actually has health to use it though, whereas Series... Not really.
Oh boy.
Yeah, he's got 700 more health than him here, so...
And that's without Dominus, which will give him another 600 once he hits 16.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So there's a reason I like it on the Redaction and not much on the other champions at the moment.
Series has a lot of resistances, which is nice, especially because there's not too much magic penetration from Ryoma. FBI's got the Mortal Reminder though, so he's perfectly comfortable.
Yeah, that's interesting, Mortal Reminder. Probably the deal with Blinky, you would have to say, because there is no Morellonomicon.
Blinky, Series as well, helps out. I mean, everyone that does damage from AV has some form of lifesteal.
Yeah, but I'm trying to think of like who's going to be able to out-lifesteal, like who is going to be that lifesteal tank. And probably at this stage is going to be Blinky. He has gone back and picked up his QSS, so he doesn't give a damn what you think it is.
Unlucky.
Does not play by your rules.
Sad. Dragon's finally taken down by AV. Just what the heck, why not? Baron's coming back up in 10 seconds as well.
And we've done such a good job of confining the whole of the Sin lineup to their base that if they collapse on this immediately, they're either going to get a pick or they're just going to get the Baron. Because there's absolutely nothing Sin can do right now. It's up as we speak. They're just going to be able to put sticks into it.
Yep, perfect.
They can hold it for as long as they want.
Actually a perfect Baron play from AV. Set up the map perfectly. And now Sin will collapse, but they're already in a tough spot. Thankfully, they did push out bottom lane.
Coming in from both members.
First is going to be Juice. Pops Ragnarok nice and early. Sybil's still tanking Baron. That is a really difficult situation for him. Baron now de-aggro. Series is in trouble. Pops Stoneplate way too late. Doppler gets it off at the right time, but they re-engage onto Renekton. He'll be the first to fall in this fight. Series is going back to base, which is smart, trying to get a good recall off. Good curtain call though, sniping off the back line. Sybil in trouble. Big crit onto Blinky as well. Almost lives. Great sniper shot.
Jake
Blinky
just killed him.
What the heck? How did you catch that one? Here comes Series from the back line, flashing away from the charm. Good use of the tether. He's back to half health. And Sinner turning around this team fight. Series, you do no damage. Sybil's going to go back to base. He's trying to be one with the jungle pit, but it's not working. He's gone over the walls here. Series is trying to do his best to run away, but still, that's a 2-for-2 trade. Sin will be happy with that one.
Yeah, they certainly will. They're actually still chasing. They short-arm that ultimate there, but Jake just killed his AD carry with a flash. Blinky was like, I don't have to worry about this captive audience. Last moment, Jake flashes out of the way. Blinky goes down, and unfortunately, the meme lives on, Fish. The meme lives on. So
many mistakes. There was one that came out I was talking to you about. I didn't know that you had to use Stoneplate early because it's based on your current health. Series didn't know that either. Used it when he had 10% health left.
Yeah, that wasn't the best use of the item I've ever seen. Let's take another look at it. So the first thing is they don't stay on the Baron. 4,000 health left means they don't want to sit in the pit. You can see that I was questioning whether that was actually good use of the East, but it does keep him alive for much longer. Doppler goes back in, does some great front lining. And if they just kept fighting this front to back, this would be fine. Instead, this is where it goes wrong. Triple dives onto the wrong side of the fight. They're able to eat him up, and you can see that FBI is just outputting so much damage. Captive Audience comes out right, bang there. Jake flashes. It would only hit the first person in the line. Instead, unfortunately, he also will fall down. And this tether that you were talking about, 520 health back, 347. All of a sudden, Ryoma's back to health. He can continue the fight. Series, no Iceborne Gauntlet means he does absolutely no damage. Will survive, but probably both teams not liking the way that fight was eventuating.
Maybe still have a 9,000 gold lead there. most of that play was off of a sloppy Baron attempt. Sybil's already at half health. They're actually going in for an engage. Sybil jumps on towards Juice. Spots the Ragnarok very early. Locked down by captive audience. But look at Jake just waiting patiently. Throws out the ball. Gets FBI after Rogue. Eats up the jungler as well. Sybil is going to get so many resets off the back of this. He's unstoppable. That's a dead catfish as well.
That actually might be the game. All of a sudden, the 80 carry's dead. That is so much of their damage. Ryoma also going to fall down to Sybil here. Goes into GA, doesn't really care. Stop chasing the Renekton.
Yep, Interior Crocodile Alligator doesn't care at the moment. Blinky doesn't want to put up that fight either. Instead, charging straight towards the base. Dockler's got to try and grab aggro of the minions or do something here. But it's next to impossible, and you only got 20 seconds for the nearest respawn timer. AV get one perfect pick into a great Baron play. Almost fumble in the mid game, but they had such a great buffer that with taking down these two Nexus turrets, they're finally going to be able to take down Sin and repeat what they did in Split 1. Go 2-1 against Sin in this best of 3 series.
I mean, that man on your screen should be very happy. He's had the best game he's had all split again. The Kalista looked much better in game number 3. The laning phase went the way they planned it. They actually traded 1-for-1 in a dive that went down there from Juves. And, you know, Triple just continues to make his mark on the OPL. That's another game where he's gone 50 CS over Ryoma and absolutely popped off throughout the mid game.
And Jake's got to be happy as well. He had a great match. Just look at that final team fight. Positioned to hook perfectly, so if Juves gets eaten, someone else is going to die at least.
I mean, he's Mr. Consistent on the team at the moment.
Yeah.
Jake has certainly come into his own. He never really underperforms. At the same time, I mean, Ryoma, Rogue, and FBI, I still feel can hold their head high throughout this whole series. And Juves actually was back to playing some pretty good League of Legends in Game 2 and 3. Game 1, still a little bit sloppy. Game 2 and 3 was absolutely fine, but they're not working cohesively with Dockler at the moment. It looks a little bit all over the shop. He had such a big advantage. They should have been able to play towards that. Think about how much he was absolutely destroying series in that laning phase. But unfortunately, they weren't able to do that, Fish.
No, they were not. It was one poor mistake coming out from FBI. Warding out the mid lane, gets caught out by multiple members of AB hiding in Fogwall. That just tipped the game completely in Navy's favor. It was a 9,000 gold swing, and even a single Baron buff fight wasn't enough for Sin to claw back that gold enough to pick a fight against them.
But they're still really good at executing under pressure, I feel, Sin. I feel that's what actually makes you a gauntlet team, makes you a playoff team. That ability to be able to execute when you're really back against the ropes, when you've had pauses, when you've had a long extended series. And I think that, you know, they'll look at this VODs, they'll continue to learn for it. And I think that with a young top laner, they still have quite a high ceiling in the league.
They certainly do. Hopefully we'll be able to see that progress as we go through the rest of the split for both Sin as well as AV. To break down that game further and to send us into the next match will be Chiefs taking on Regicide. Let's send it back to Hingers and the rest of the analysts at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Fish. And Spawn AV taking that series 2-1 over Sin. And looks like you should have stuck to your guns because that was your initial prediction that you wavered from.
It was so close. Like, like Sim were winning that game, and then FBI got caught, and then like
I have
don't
no
know.
sympathy for you.
I don't know.
None.
And I don't blame you. Like that game was way too close, and I don't know. They both played pretty well.
Yeah, talk to me about your initial thoughts on this game, T-Gun, because I know you were quite frustrated watching it upstairs as we were together.
There were so many people playing well on different teams. FBI was giving it his all until he made one mistake that we'll get to later. And then on the case of AV, you have Series playing against what I assume is his favorite champion in Renekton and not looking too effective.
Yeah.
Right after I said I wanted to look to him to look effective. So it was just a very, very tough game to sort of sit back, watch, and be like, well, everything that I wanted to happen is really not happening. And then you have Sin putting probably their most effective member on a more supportive champion in the mid lane. Didn't really agree with the decision.
Well, Choo-Choos, I know as we bring up this first replay, you were super impressed by FBI in this particular bot lane team fight. So let's take a look at it and exactly what is impressive about this play.
I think it's just impressive how well he knows the limits of this champion. He opens up with a brilliant ult. It doesn't show that he did have some really good poke underneath the tower. But anyways, team comes in. Renekton comes in and goes huge. They ended up over-chasing Gragas here. It's really unfortunate that Ahri burnt her ult on the Karma because she's not able to clean them up after they overextend here. But Sybil's waiting in the bush. I don't think he's aware of how many people are still alive. And yeah, pretty much FBI like started this play and carried them through and got them this early gold lead.
Yeah.
FBI basically played it as well as he could have. There's no two ways about it. He hit every skill shot. He hit every part of the ult. He flashed the Gragas barrel. He did all that he could to carry that fight. The only reason it didn't go even better for them was his teammates just overchased into the area, like you said.
Well, that's kind of what makes this next replay so disappointing, T-Gun, because, I mean, the young ADC, FBI, he gets caught out as you bring this up, and T-Gun, this is a defining moment for the rest of the game, because this is that turnaround from 2,000 gold up to 6,000 gold down.
Yeah, they were 2K up here, and this is probably the first mistake FBI's made all game, but this is just the most important mistake to look at through the whole thing. Great by AV to capitalize off it and just chase down everyone. Really smart decision here by Blink. I want to highlight this. To change onto Juves and chase him down. Burns a flash. People might be sitting there thinking kind of a waste, but that absolutely makes sure there isn't even a 1% chance of losing Baron. Now, with Callista, obviously there's very little chance, but when you take it from very little to no chance, that is very, very important. And you could tell after that, they went from 2K down to, I believe it was around 8,500 up by the end of the Baron, which is, help me out here, I never do math on the spot, but let's go ahead and call it what it is roughly a 10K gold swing just based on the Baron alone. Like, that is something that you have to go back, look at, and say this was just the turning point in the game for us.
Yeah, and for this AV side, I mean, they last split beat Sin twice. This split, they're up over them. There's 2-1 victory now. So for the rest of the split, I mean, like Sin need to win something back now, right? Like they've been able to beat Legacy. They've been able to beat teams that have finished higher than AV, or they beat them in the gauntlet, I should say. But you know, this is almost a monkey on their back during the regular season.
Yeah, it could be. Much how we say teams struggle against the Chiefs just because they're the Chiefs, this could be the problem that they're having. It's hard to say from an outside perspective, but it's something that if they go back and they look at the VODs, they'll know that they didn't really play as well as they hold themselves up to as far as the standard is concerned, and I think they're going to come away disappointed from today.
Yeah. I also want to talk about the bot lane, and particularly the AD carries. We talked a lot about FBI already, but let's compare him to Blinky as we look at this, because, I mean, Blinky is now moving away from the Ashes. We saw him play today 3 games on these hyper carries, and T-Gun, you're looking impressed by something there.
I love that it just says champion, right? Because that's what they played. They
played.
That's all they need to know how to play. I mean,
Damage
Blinky
is so
played other
close.
champions, but
Yeah. Very
so
close game.
when damage is this close in a game that looked like a blowout by the end of it, I tend to give more respect to the losing team's player in FBI here. Like we were saying before, he was there shining light in the darkness. And he was playing really, really well.
He played 3 games of Jin today.
Yeah.
And we spoke about Jin at the start of this segment, but I really think it shows how much they value this champion. I mean, Xayah went through every draft, I think.
No one picked. Yeah,
I don't think anyone touched Xayah.
It might have been a
draft.
stylistic choice. Maybe they're not confident on it. Maybe they don't rate it. Going back to Jin, I think FBI well proved himself, like validated the pick 3 games in a row. He played pretty well every single game, especially the 3rd game. And looking at the damage dealt to all the champions, he's head and shoulders above the team. Renekton sort of lacking is the thing that jumps out to me. Karma, you sort of expect a lot of damage because she has so much poke, but...
Something I want to point out is that Sin actually prioritized the Olaf over the Kha'Zix this game. They were given the option to pick Kha'Zix, but they chose Olaf. And, I mean, as you can see, Kha'Zix has done a lot more work in this game than Olaf. And I find it surprising because Juves is a really good Kha'Zix player in that game too. He played great, and I just found it really surprising that they gave that one over.
Do you think is Sin's comp in this 3rd game? They're trying to take this game early, aren't they?
Yep.
It seemed like they were doing what they did in game 1. They tried to go back to a sort of early game, just get into your comp, maybe try and play around the globals.
They tried to get Dockler on a damage top champion in Renekton, and they felt that Roma didn't need to play too much of a damage mid laner. It's more of a Karma to support the damage top laner, FBI and the Jhin again. And I think it did work well. Like, the comp was working really well. They had a great bot dive, and it all just fell apart after FBI got caught in the mid lane. But besides that, I don't think their comp was that bad. I think they had a good idea going behind it.
There was good map movement by Ryoma early too. You look at Karma mid, you say it's a lane bully that scales in to be a supportive mid, but he bullied out mid, he ran top, got top a kill. He was all over the map like he normally is on Talia, so it's hard to really fault his play. But it just comes back to, in the other games, he was so influential, and in this game, you're sort of limiting what he can do to a certain degree.
On this in this 3rd game, right? They've obviously given Dockler in Bensel's draft quite a bit of priority because they first picked Renekton. But you also see their first ban their thrower is Rumble. They did the same thing in game 1. I mean, if he's not playing Fiora or Jace, which are theoretically his like go-to champions, why are they banning out Rumble and picking Renekton over Rumble? Like, Rumble's really good right now.
Yeah, that might be it. Obviously, we're still teething through the 7.12 drafts and trying to work out what is priority and not, but both these teams seem to place a high priority on Renekton. Obviously, AV did initially, and then Sin came back and said, you know what? If you can do it, we can do it. And I don't really want to fault them. I think it's a great champion. I think it's very strong. So maybe we'll see in the coming... maybe Chiefs will pick it up. Maybe Red Side will pick it up. Maybe we'll see it overseas somewhere. But I think that Renekton's going to be the next sort of power pick that might just slip through drafts constantly.
I did not know that score was...
I mean, that does not look good for Juves, and he has not had a good start to this split. Obviously, Sin are not where they want to be on the table, and their captain is frankly underperforming, and I think he would be really upset with his performance today as well.
Yeah,
I don't think he should take it too hard.
Yeah,
he definitely had like a really good game 1. On the Olaf, like he did his job. Even though he baited and essentially they counter engaged, his game 2 on Kha'Zix just showed how proficient he was on the champion. I don't know if they've been practicing Olaf a lot in scrims.
I think Bensel said they had been. Yeah.
They had been?
Yeah.
So this is obviously something they practiced, but today it felt questionable.
Right.
I'm not going to be hard on him. He's going to be hard on himself. I don't need to sort of add on to the pile. Like you said, he played well game 1. He played pretty well game 2. Game 3, it wasn't there, but you can't expect him to turn up every game in the league, so it's really difficult to sort of place the blame on him for me.
Hashtag IMOPL if you want to tweet some love to Juves, because obviously he's upset with today's result. But AV, let's talk about some wins for them, because they'd be pretty happy getting away with 2 points today when they could have easily gone away with, well, none or 1.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, AV played quite consistently. Game 1 was a disaster. That game was actually...
It was a game you just throw away in your head. You just have to mentally reset, and that's what they did.
Yeah, they definitely did mentally reset really well, especially Sybil. Sybil, probably one of the best, probably one of the strongest mentals, like mental
Mentality.
I'd say he's a top 3 jungler.
Towards like going into these best of 3s, best of 5s even, I know that. And after having such a rough game 1, going into game 2, then game 3, he performed amazingly. I'm really... Like, I'm really shocked how well he played.
He linked up really well with Triple as well. You were seeing upstairs that even in the game where Sirius is doing well, you know, Triple and Sybil just seem to be really, really effective together and just getting things done. So hats off to him coming back from such a dismal game 1 to performing really well in game 2 and game 3.
The way we talk about Ryoma as this mid lane carry for Sin, I mean, going forward, do you guys think then that rather than it being a case of Ryoma is a great carry, it's actually that Sin, unless Ryoma is ahead, struggle to play around?
Yes, but like that's hard to say. Like what we saw game 1 when Tommy gets kills, like he solo carries the game.
Yeah.
He solo carries the game. Every game he's played Talia, I think he's gotten kills and he's just solo carried. So yeah, you do raise a really good question, because if he does fall behind, it looks like Sinner don't know what to do. Yeah,
and we look back to when Flares was here. At least they had a fallback, if you want to really frame it around Ryoma being just the main carry now. But it's hard to just put all the pressure on him without seeing the inner workings and seeing what their plan is, because you can draft to give him that priority, and if you do that, you expect it.
All right, well, there we have it. AV taking the series 2-1 over Sin, but do not go anywhere, because after these hearts, we'll be back with Chiefs versus Regicide.
Trouble. That's a flash forward from Rogue. Good exhaustion to Jake. They're going to lock down the Thresh, which is a smart move, but can they get enough damage? One more eat. Can he get him? Can't get the eat down. First blood picked up by FBI, but Blinky turns it around.
Still going.
He's got red buff and blue buff. He's able to charge forward. So many spears thrown to Rogue. Now going on towards FBI. Good damage. Gets locked down by Captive Audience. Blinky decides not to go any further forward. Jungle's going to meet again. Juves takes a brunt of damage from Sybil, but look at this. Good dash of the roll from Triple. Juves is going to be the first one to fall. Doppler does get down there, but great separation from Series. FBI trying to snipe Triple, gags him, gets the crit shot. The sniper from downtown picks up another one for AV. A spam heavy mid laners. We talk about that there. FBI's being caught. He's trying to deal as much damage as possible, but Juves is going to try and charge in and help out his team, but instead he's just running away. Ryoma is that next target. Rogue flashes for it, but he might have just cost his team another kill. Ryoma does get spat out and destroyed. and AV just leave him to die. Blinky flashing aggressively forward. Juice is dead. Rogue has his hand on his head. Double kill picked up by Blinky, and that's 4 kills for AV, turning the game completely around. That's not good. Series body slams away. Now Triple's taking so much damage. Jake will block the final shot there. Maybe the sacrificial lamb for his team. Juice said big play coming out from the Thresh. Throws Streamers back in. Doppler trying to get into the back lines, but he's taken so much damage. Blinky throws one back. Triple has been sniped out, but at what cost? Reimer will trade further forward. Juice has no ultimate, and Blinky is still incredibly healthy. Double kill has been picked up by Sybil, and AV charged towards the base. Baron now de-aggro. Series is in trouble. Pops don't play way too late. Doppler gets it off at the right time, but they re-engage onto Renekton. He'll be the first to fall in this fight. Series is going back to base, which is smart, trying to get a good recall off. Good curtain call though, sniping off the back line. Sybil in trouble. Big crit onto Blinky as well. Almost lives. Great sniper shot.
Jake
Blinky
just killed him.
What the heck? How did you catch that one? Here comes Series from the back line, flashing away from the charm. Good use of the tether. He's back to half health. And Sinner turning around this team fight. Series, you do no damage. Sybil's going to go back to base. He's trying to be one with the jungle pit, but it's not working. He's gone over the walls here. Series is trying to do his best to run away. That with taking down these 2 Nexus turrets, they're finally going to be able to take down Sin and repeat what they did in Split 1. Go 2-1 against Sin in this best of 3 series.
Whilst an OPL game takes about 30 minutes to play, it's generally won from a series of plays that only take a few. Hi guys, I'm Jake Spawn Tiberi, and welcome to the War Room. Week 2 of the OPL saw TM Gaming go up against Sin. TM's jungler Only was able to set up a double kill bottom lane within the first 3 minutes that was integral to snowballing his squad to victory. However, the play is more than a young mechanical jungler making his mark on the early game. It involved every member from TM lineup doing his part. This is a small detail, but any early game gank requires you to know exactly where the enemy jungler is. As Ryoma comes into lane with missing mana, TM's jungler knows Juves is starting his Raptor camp. Clear towards his red buff before finishing his clear on the top side of the map. With this in mind, TM's top laner Praetor will clear out his wave and ward his own jungle. This will be crucial as the play progresses, as the ward will spot out Juves and allow Praetor to avoid being dove. This provides TM's bottom lane with the safety they need to hard commit. Only races bottom lane, skipping his own blue buff, and as he enters the lane, T-Gun on Thresh flashes forward for a double play on both FBI and Rogue. Once the duo summoner spells are burnt, a death sentence secures the kill on Sin support. Generally, the play would end there, but with no summoner spells, FBI is a sitting duck. Only assists low to push the wave into the turret before looping around for what results in a trade 2-for-1 kill. This is made even better by the fact FBI loses 15 CS worth of experience and gold, and begins what is a decisive victory for the TM squad.
Down, clapping
Wow, what a
around the
win.
board.
How excited are they?
TM just picked up a game over Sin.
That's it for the War Room. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you next week.